Well, I'm Panos from Nooch, Pooches, and I'm a dog trainer. I come down to Sutherland Shire Animal Shelter once a week on Thursday and help out my services and try to help volunteers and the staff with some of the big problem children. The big dogs are a little bit more powerful to handle, so trying to share my knowledge and network and keep the community, I think, is really important. We provide in-home sessions, so one-on-one training for clients. So I go to people's houses and work on puppy training, obedience training, and behavioural issues. So any domesticated issue that anyone has with their dogs, then I come down and help. And this is Mr. Spades. Spades, come. So Spades helps me with my jobs, helps rehabilitate and socialise other dogs. He's a rescue dog, not from here, but he's a rescue dog from a shelter similar to here. So, obviously, if we do the right thing, and provide the right type of structure and routine for the dogs, then we can have them sound and social, just like Spades is. Hey, and this is Tanya, my partner, and she also helps me with doing pet sitting and dog minding. So anyone who have any going on away or going on holidays and needs their dog to be looked after, we do caring as well as the training. So for any further inquiries or anything, check out our website and our Facebook page. But one thing I want to show is to do some tricks with Spades. And actually, before I get to that, I wanted to cover a couple of important things on how to approach dogs appropriately. I think this is very important. I think a lot of people do get hurt and bitten. Dogs get scared and run away when we approach a dog the wrong way. I guess the number one most important thing is when we approach a dog is never to be... we never really face the dog front on, so Spades. So if he was a stray dog, for example, walking on the street, the last thing we should do is walk up to the dog front on and facing them. The problem with that is, obviously he knows me, so he'll lick me. Right? But if I look threatening to a dog and I walk over and crowd my body language over, the dog then may feel insecure and scared, and then they may react with fight or flight, where he'll run away, or sometimes they may bite you. And especially if it's a child who's in line with the dog's face, then they can get bitten on the face. And generally a lot of people get bitten on the hand because a lot of people do the old school mentality of let him smell me, except the problem with let me smell me is that we have to walk right up to the dog, and then the dog then thinks that we're going to touch him and he may bite. So the best thing to do is, if we do see a dog and he's standing there, we want him to come up to us, is kneel down and then tap your leg, and if he decides to come up close to you and he wants to close the gap, then that's fine. Then we can pat him and grab him by a collar, put him on a lead, and then obviously call the ranger, call the shelter. But what's really important is if a dog also tries to run up to you and you're a little bit scared or insecure, if you run away, the dog will chase you. So sometimes running's a good option, but not all the time. So what's really important is if the dog does approach you and you're not sure about it, is straight away put your side to the dog so your vital organs aren't exposed, so you don't get hurt on, obviously, these parts. So give him the rump, right? Give him the heart. So this is a very important part. Or even looking smaller and trying to make yourself look. And I've been in very close situations where dogs have tried to attack me, and looking submissive and looking like you're not a threat, and no eye contact is very important. So try to keep that in mind. Try not to do the whole I'm okay, because in that way the dog's backing up, and their body language is important of what they're displaying and what they're telling us. So ears back and tail tucked looks scared, where ears forward and staring is more highly aroused. So Spades. So he's gone to my mum who has a sausage. So you need a sausage. If you want a dog to come up to you, use food and things like that. This is very important. So I think being really understanding what the dog wants, because a lot of the time one thing that works with one dog may not necessarily work with another dog as well. Also, when children particularly go to friends' houses and they're used to seeing Spades and able to cuddle him and pat him and kind of be a bit rough, sometimes they may associate another black dog with similar behaviour, and you don't want them to then run up to your friend's neighbour's dog and then go, oh, it looks like whatever, and they hug him and the dog then bites. A lot of the time a dog will show body language and their body language will then show something's about to happen, whether he's scared, happy, or unsure, fearful, nervous, anxious, etc. So a child won't be able to read these body language unless we teach them. So the best thing to do is management. Keep the dog on a lead if you know that children are coming over and stuff. Also, what we can do is when a child comes over, don't get them to rush over to a dog and try to pat them straight away. Do the same thing. Get them to approach by showing their side of the body language and then tapping. And if the dog doesn't want to come up and say hello, that's fine. It's no problem. Because I think we, as a society, I think we're generally addicted to touching dogs, and I think we want to touch every dog, but sometimes that's the worst thing that can happen, because that dog will then bite, and then we're not sure how to deal with him. Council gets involved in terms of, you know, there's obviously fines and penalties. Some people can't then follow through with the requirements. The dog ends up here, and then obviously, well, we do our best to rehome the dog, but it'd be better if the dog doesn't come here, right? So trying to be proactive is very important, and yeah, it's all people training as well as dog training, so really keep that in mind. But what we're going to do now is, I'm limited with time, so I'm going to show a bit of training that Spades knows, a couple of tricks, and then if there's anyone got any questions, you know, don't hesitate, you know, ask me, or maybe after if you want to ask me private, that's no problem as well.
Can I just get through?
Walk on. Walk on. Yes. Good boy. Tap. Yes. Sit. High five. Good boy. Oh, this is a new one here. Through. 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 Performing for so many guests, right? Through. Through. Yes. Good boy. Stand. Good boy. Straight. Sit. Big. Yes. Good boy. So I know everyone can see that. Down. I'm not sure if he'll do the roll on the concrete, but we'll try anyway. He normally does it on the grass. Down. Roll. Oh, roll all the way. Roll.
Way!
His main job anyway, just to kind of wrap it up, is I try to make sure that he's really calm and submissive, so that when we go to people's jobs and we're dealing with reactive dogs, aggressive dogs, he's still calm and relaxed, and he helps me. I do the human side of things, and he also helps me with the canine side of things, to show that he's not a threat, and that, you know, so that dogs can be socialized, you know. And I think it's very important. Sometimes people say, let the dog say hi, and I think that's another thing. Try not to do that when you have a dog and you're walking in a place like here. It's probably a very good opportunity to not do this. Is don't go up and let the dog say hello, because it does two things. Your dog may be fine, but what about the other dog? And if that dog then bites or gets bitten and makes them more scared, and then it's going to be hard to help them. But also, the most important part of socialization is learning to be comfortable and to ignore other external stimuli. So, you know, there's all these people here, and I love to say hello and shake everyone's hand, but it's not going to happen. And when your dog's with a whole bunch of dogs, get anxious trying to run up and jump and carry on. So I think sometimes teach your dog to ignore another dog and try to keep the focus on you, because you're the most important thing. Because whoever holds the lead's the leader, right? So, yeah, that's question.
What type of dog would you recommend for children?
For children? Well, that's a good question. I think, you know, trying to always match every dog for every household. Really look at what is your general routine like. You know, do you have a lot of time at home? Do we have a lot of exercise to give the dog? Well, give me one sec. Spades, come. Yeah. And what's important is that as much as we suit the dog for the child, we always need to suit the dog for the adult and mum and dad. And I think that's very important, because if we, sometimes a lot of people get a dog for the child, and then we expect the child to, you know, walk the dog every day and feed it and discipline it and everything else, and it's unrealistic. So what's really important is getting a dog that suits the family's needs. If we have a high energy environment where we like going to the park every day and doing big bike rides, etc., then I'd say a higher energy dog, something like, you know, maybe a dog from the shelter, a little bit of an older dog that isn't too boisterous. Try to stay away from really high energy type of dogs, especially if we're all new to it. It's very hard to explain, which dog do we get. It's kind of hard. Try to suit it for your individual situation. So research and call me and I'll help you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone's got anything to ask or Anything to say? Anything? If not, then check us out on Facebook, noochespooches.com.au, and Facebook as well. We've got a YouTube channel, so we've got a couple of videos up there, and yeah. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Okay. Boy. Really good.